Have you ever had a conversation with a woman that seemed to be going well, but then all of a sudden she lost interest? Or have you found that you've been interacting with women and they don't really seem as excited about you as you are about them, right? They don't seem as attracted to you as you are to them. And as you'll discover in this video, in almost all cases, it doesn't mean that you're not good enough. Instead, you just haven't been told what works when it comes to dating, and as a result, you're not getting the reactions and responses that you really want from women. Now, the 5 dating tips that I'm going to share for you in this video have been tested on thousands of women, and I'll tell you about that later. But for now, just know that once you start applying what you learn in this video, you'll notice that women become more interested, they're more engaged in conversations, and in some cases, they may even start chasing you for a change. Let's get into it. Number 1, understand that women are surrounded by men who want them, but don't do anything about it. Almost every attractive woman is constantly looked at. Everywhere she goes, she gets admired, and men want her, but they don't do anything about it. If you see a woman in a cafe by herself, in almost all cases, no man is going to talk to her. And if you're in a bar or a club, in most cases, men simply look at the women. They don't actually walk over and talk to them. And personally speaking, this is one of the reasons why it was so easy for me to get the kind of results that I got with women before settling down. Even though I'm not a tall guy, the fact that I actually walked up and talked to women and then created a spark of attraction inside of the woman gave me a chance, whereas what I estimate is approximately 95% of guys simply just look at women. Yes, they feel attracted to them. Yes, they want them, but they don't do anything about it. Likewise, if you see a woman walking along the street during the day, for example, don't assume that, oh, she must have loads of guys trying to get dates with her on dating apps, because when you actually look into the numbers, most people don't actually use dating apps. And when you look further into the numbers, you realize that, oh, hang on, most of the users on dating apps are actually men. So what that means is that women make up a very small percentage of the already small percentage of people who actually use dating apps. And in person, the absolute majority of guys do not walk up to women that they don't know, make them feel attracted, and then get their phone number. It just rarely happens at all. So the reality is that you really don't have much competition for the women that you really want, because most guys are either too afraid to talk to them, or they don't know what to say, or the guy thinks that he'll be a nuisance if he walks up and talks to her, whether that's at a bar, a club, or during the day, wherever it may be. He thinks that he'll be doing the wrong thing, whereas in reality, you're simply giving her an opportunity to meet a lover, boyfriend, or husband, because she can't go around approaching men. She can't go around starting conversations with men, because the way that it works is that if a woman shows interest in a guy, he'll almost always happily have sex with her. It's very easy for women to get sex. They know that they have that sexual power. And when it comes to women, most men will happily have sex with a woman if they get the chance, but it doesn't work the other way around, right? Most women aren't going to just want to have sex with men for the sake of it. They're just going to have sex with anyone. Instead, if you want to have sex or a relationship with a woman, you need to be able to interact with her and create sparks of attraction inside of her as you're talking to her, and then move things forward. And I'll give you some examples of what to say later in the video. For now, here's my second dating tip for men. Know that you don't have to be her type to attract her for sex or a relationship. So the thing is, many guys assume that they need to be a woman's ideal type in order to get with her. So they need to be tall and handsome, or they need to be rich and successful, or something like that. They need to be a particular race, right? But what you'll find is that you'll hear women often say something along the lines of, he wasn't my type at first, but once we started talking, I really liked him. Or I didn't find him physically attractive at first, but once we started talking, I felt a spark, we fell in love, and the rest is history. Additionally, a woman's type can actually change. Right? A woman may be going through life saying that she only wants a particular type of guy. And I'll give you an example of 2 of my female friends. One is a Sri Lankan woman and one is a white woman. And by that I mean she has an Irish background like myself. So the Sri Lankan friend of mine, now she was going through her life only dating Sri Lankan men. And that's what she thought she really liked and she would only ever like. Yet then she started dating a white guy, and from then on she only wanted white men. She found white men very attractive. And a similar thing happened to my white female friend who has that Irish background like me. And she got with a friend of mine who's half English and half Indian. And they fell in love and had a great relationship, but ended up breaking up. And from then on, she only went for Indian guys and ended up settling down with an Indian guy. So the thing is, in almost all cases, a woman's type can change. It's what I refer to as an open type. And that means that a woman can be with different types of guys, and not necessarily just race, but she may have only gone for a particular personality, and then she gets with a guy who's a bit of a nerd, and she falls in love with him, and from then on, she says, I've got a thing for nerds. And other guys might look on and think, well, what the heck's going on there? Why is she with a guy who looks like a nerd? But she is into nerds now. She likes the way that a nerd makes her feel. Now, that said, there are some women who have a closed type and they don't want to change their type at all, right? So, for example, some women have a type where a man needs to be rich and tall and muscular, and that's all they're going to accept. Or a guy needs to be a real bad boy, a bit of a thug, and that's all she accepts. But outside of that, most women have an open type, and a woman can like you, feel attracted to you, get with you, fall in love with you, and stay with you, despite her not initially thinking that she would get with a guy like you. Now, at this point, a guy may still have a bit of an insecurity about that. For example, he may think, well, what if she gets with me, but then she realizes later on that I'm not her type and she really wants her original type, which was the tall, handsome man. Now, both men and women have cheated on each other before, right? When you look at the statistics, it's pretty similar. But something important for you to understand and to know and remember is that throughout human history, billions of women have stayed with the one man and been loyal to him, despite the fact that there are other men around who are more successful and who are more handsome, right? So her man might not have been a handsome man, and there are other handsome men around who are successful and strong and doing all sorts of things around in the community, the village, the town, the city, you name it. But she remained loyal to him, and he remained loyal to her. And the way that it works is that when you display traits that make women feel attracted, for example, you are confident rather than insecure, you are emotionally independent rather than emotionally dependent. And finally, another example is that you're able to flirt with her to create sexual tension rather than just treating her like a friend or like a housemate or a roommate and so forth. You continue to be able to add in that flirting, then her attraction for you is going to remain. As long as you're approaching the relationship correctly, in that you're making her feel the desire to impress you, to treat you well, to be respectful towards you, but at the same time, you also treat her well. You respect her, you appreciate her. It goes both ways in that regard. But as long as you approach the relationship in that way, the love between you and her will deepen. And I can tell you from personal experience as well, as someone who's been with a lot of women, right? I've been with all different types of women. I enjoyed my choice of women for over 10 years before settling down, and I realized that I only wanted to be with her. And ever since then, even though I will look at other women who are attractive and find them attractive, I just don't want anything to do with them, right? I don't want to leave the relationship I'm in and ruin that to just get with another woman, right? There's just no point because I've got what I wanted. And the same thing works with most women, right? There are some men who, despite having what they want in a relationship, will still cheat on their woman, and vice versa. There are some women who are just the sort of woman who is not a trustworthy person, is not a loyal person, and is just not going to remain faithful to her man, and despite having a great relationship, she may still cheat on him. However, when you're a man who knows how to attract women, you don't just select any woman to settle down with. You choose the right woman for you, and you assess her behavior. You don't just commit to her in 2 weeks or 3 weeks and say, yes, I'm definitely going to stay with this woman forever. Instead, you have to assess her for a bit. You have to assess her behavior and see what type of person she is. And if you see that she is a loyal, trustworthy woman who respects you, treats you well, loves you, and so on, then as long as you are displaying attractive traits and you approach the relationship properly, you and her will be able to stay together just like billions of couples have done before you. Number 3, realize that you can make her pursue you from the very start, but you still have to make a move. So when you start interacting with a woman, whether you meet her for the first time at a bar or party or you're on a date with her, you can actually make her feel like she wants to pursue you from the start. And the way that you do that is by displaying traits that make her feel attracted and showing some interest in her, but letting her sense that you're not fully sold on her yet, right? So if you're interacting with a woman that you find attractive and she's talking to you and being friendly towards you, but you can sense that she's not fully sold on you yet, what does that usually make you do? if you're like most guys, it's going to make you want to then win her over, right? You're going to want to win her approval, win her acceptance. You're going to hope that you can get her to be sold on you. So the thing is, you can do that to a woman as well. You can flip the script and be in that position, and women love it. They see guys like that as a challenge. But at the end of the day, what you need to understand and remember is that despite a woman pursuing you energetically, right, in the interaction and potentially pursuing you a bit via text, she still wants you to make the final move, the big move to initiate a kiss, or if you're talking to her in person, get her phone number, or if you're texting her, arrange to catch up. Or if you're close and hugging in person and you're holding her there, she wants you to lean in, and then she'll also lean in and start kissing you as well. But she wants you to make that big move in that moment. She wants you to be able to take on that traditional male role as the one who is leading the way, even though you can make her pursue you and chase you energetically and want something to happen. That said, there are women who, despite feeling a lot of attraction to you, will still remain cool, calm, and collected. Women like that will want to try to maintain their position of power and be the one who is going to be won over, or the woman wants to see that if she's not being reassuring of her interest towards you, that you can still remain confident. Additionally, that you will still remain interested in her and you'll still pursue something. You'll still try to move things forward despite her not showing you that she really wants to get with you. Right? So sometimes you'll notice that a woman is energetically pursuing you. You can feel it where she really wants to win you over. She really wants to get a chance with you. But other times a woman will feel as much attraction as that other woman is feeling, but she'll remain cool, calm, and collected. And you need to make sure that at the end of the day, you don't stop at that point. You move things forward. It's the traditional role of a man who makes a move, who moves things forward. Number 4. Remember that women react to the energy you bring, not just your words. So what to say to women is important, but as you may have heard, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And that's what women are really focusing on. They're focusing on how you're saying it and what that suggests about you in terms of your confidence, your personality, your behavior, your mindset, and how that then makes her feel. For example, if a guy is talking to a woman and she says that she works as a teacher, and he says exactly the same thing, but with different tonality and energy, it will have a completely different effect. Right? So if she says that she works as a teacher and he says, "Oh, a teacher, how long have you been doing that?" It's just a nice, friendly, neutral type of conversation. It's not going to make her feel attracted and turned on. She's going to feel like she's just getting along with him. Whereas if he says it in a different way, it'll make her feel attracted. "Ah, a teacher. How long have you been doing that?" And it then brings a different type of energy into the interaction, right? He's adding in a bit of a subtle sexual vibe. There's subtle flirting going on there, and the woman feels feminine and girly because she feels like she's under the spotlight of a man's attention. When women say that he makes me feel like a real woman, that's one of the things that they're referring to. The fact that the man has the ability to make her feel like she's not the same as him, right? She is feminine, she is a girl, she is a woman, and she does feel different compared to him. It's not about just being the same, right? Men and women are the same. Let's just get along in a nice, equal way. "Oh, you work as a teacher. How long have you been doing that?" "Oh, all right. And what's it like working with kids?" Right? It's just, let's get along in a really nice way, right? That's not going to make her feel attracted. Likewise, if a man is displaying nervousness and fear and he's bringing that type of energy into the interaction, it's going to turn the woman off. For example, "Oh, a teacher. How long have you been doing that?" And she can smell the fear all over him. She can see it in the subtleties of his body language that he's afraid, that he's intimidated, that he's worried about getting rejected, that he is not a confident man. And as a result, she does not feel attracted and turned on by him. So the thing is, while the words that you say to a woman are important, what's more important is the energy that you bring, the way that you say it, because the woman then gets a sense of what type of man you are, right? A man can have achieved a lot of things in life and he is nervous around women and he's afraid and he says the same thing in a nervous or fearful way and it turns the woman off. Whereas another guy hasn't achieved much or anything. He's just a normal, everyday guy, an average sort of guy, but he's able to talk to women in a way that makes them feel attracted and turned on. So the woman then feels attracted and turned on, and in many cases, she will then get with him. She will happily get into a relationship with him because he's making her feel the attraction that she wants to feel, which is the most important thing when a woman is deciding whether or not to get with a guy, right? Does he actually make her feel attracted, or is he just another guy who doesn't understand how to make women feel attracted, right? He's just hoping that if he's nice enough, she'll give him a chance. Or if he's achieved lots of things in life, she's going to give him a chance. But what she's looking for is to feel attracted. And when you know how to make women feel attracted to you, women want you sexually and romantically, and as a result, dating is very easy. And before I give you the 5th dating tip for men on the list, I'll point out that if you're enjoying what you've been learning so far, then you will love what you learn at Master Attraction. At Master Attraction, I teach you what to say and do to display all of the traits that make women feel sexually and romantically attracted to you. In addition to the video lessons, you also get access to the Master Attraction community, where you can make new friends with guys who are learning what I teach. You can ask for advice or give advice, and you can even catch up in person to go out meeting women together. Additionally, you also get Dan Bacon AI, and that's the AI that I have personally trained to respond exactly like I would if you and I were talking one-on-one. So you have 24/7 support and can get custom advice about anything regarding women. So if, for example, you're texting a woman and need some advice, you can upload a screenshot of your text, and Dan Bacon AI will read the text, will analyze it, tell you what you're doing right and wrong, and what you need to text next to get the result you want. By the way, at the start of this video, I mentioned that I'll point out how this was tested on thousands of women, and that comes down to the fact that I used to take new clients out every weekend and approach and meet women with them all weekend. In addition to that, I also went out with friends and met women, and I was with a lot of women over the course of 10 years before settling down. What I'm teaching you in this video has been tested on thousands of women, and what I teach at Master Attraction is used in today's dating scene by my members, and they are getting amazing results. They're walking up to women and experiencing the same type of thing that I used to experience and my clients used to experience, because attraction doesn't change, right? What women feel attracted to is always the same. Members are having sex with women on the first night that they meet them, even though they've never done it before. Members are getting women giving them their phone number. Members are getting women walking up and approaching them because of the techniques that they are using. And members are even having women start to talk about marriage with them right away, which is what I used to experience as well. Women used to lock on to me right away when we hooked up or when we started dating. It was basically right away, instant. They start talking about wanting to be my girlfriend. They start talking about the future. And as you start to date them, they're talking about getting married, settling down, having a family, but I wasn't ready for that. I wanted to continue enjoying my choice of women, and that was the right decision for me as a dating coach, right? Not to just settle down and not learn anything more. Instead, I continued to be with more women and truly mastered the art of attracting women. Then when I met my perfect girl, I decided that I no longer wanted to be seeing a lot of women at once and only wanted to be with her. She only wanted to be with me. She still feels the same way, and we've been together for more than 12 years now. This is what works with women. So let's get on to the 5th dating tip for men. Don't give up so easily. When I first started going out and attempting to meet women and understand how attraction works, I would go out with a friend of mine, and him and I used to start interacting with women and make them feel attracted, and then we'd get out of the interaction because we didn't believe in ourselves. But I realized that if I wanted to get results, then I was going to have to be brave enough to stick with the interaction and follow through. And when I did that, my results went through the roof. And likewise, when I went on a date with a woman, right, rather than just getting on the date with her and thinking that if it's not going perfectly well, then she probably doesn't like me, so I probably should just leave the date and not call her or not text her. Rather than having that mindset, I just went for it. I just moved things forward. I continued to pursue in a non-needy way, right? So there's a difference between pursuing a woman in a needy way and a non-needy way. Right? Pursuing in a needy way means that you're really desperate about trying to get a result. Like you just want her and only her, and everything hinges on this, right? If I don't get her, then I'm a failure. But pursuing in a confident way, in a masculine way, means that you take on your traditional role as a man and you actually go after what you want. Right? And in almost all cases, that's what a woman needs from you. She needs to see that you're confident enough to do that and that you're interested in her enough to continue to move things forward and not just walk away because she isn't making it obvious that she wants to be with you. The thing is, a woman has to check to see if a guy is actually interested in her enough to follow through. Otherwise, she will open herself up to guys who will happily have sex with her if she makes it obvious that she likes them, even though they don't even like her. Right? The guy will just have sex with her because she's showing that she's open to it, so why not? So remember that if a woman doesn't make it 100% obvious that she wants you right away, don't just give up immediately and then walk away because of that. Instead, just continue interacting with her, make her feel attracted, and move things forward. When you do that, dating is easy. Yet, if you give up too quickly during an interaction or when on a date, you will waste opportunities with women who did actually like you, but were waiting for you to stick with the interaction and then make a move.